Of my caliber, you know, upper middle class family, went to all the best schools, graduated with an MBA, could end up in a lifestyle like this. Believe me, when I was a little girl, I wanted all the same things that all little girls want. I wanted a big house with a white fence, fancy car, 2-car garage, a good husband, and 2.2 children. I got everything I dreamed of, but soon all those dreams became a nightmare. I guess I always looked for a strong man, like my daddy. As soon as my father died, I guess I was so lonesome I just latched on to the first man I thought was strong. Maybe it was his smile that hypnotized me. Or maybe it was his eyes. He could always get me with those eyes. Either way, I was blinded to my own ability. I depended on him for everything. That's how he wanted it. You know, I don't think that he really cared about me. You know, I don't think that he really cared about the way that I felt. I don't think he really cared about any of my ideas. He didn't care how much knowledge I had. He was just concerned about whether or not I could put a meal on the table. In fact, the favorite thing that he would say was, a woman's place is in the kitchen and bedroom. That's pretty strange. Sometimes he would go months without talking to me, touching me. He was so cold. Then he'd badger me about whether or not I was cheating, was he cheating, who's cheating. He was so insecure. You know, I think that he was so insecure that he was afraid that if I went into the workforce with the knowledge that I had with my MBA, that I would have made more money than him, or I would have met someone else. He couldn't have that. He was so insecure. Never depend on a motherfucker for nothing. You know, it will fuck your shit up all the time. Needless to say, Mr. Macho left me and my kids. And he didn't leave us in good shape either. And to say he was so concerned about me being in the kitchen cooking, he certainly didn't care if they had anything to eat, because there were bills that needed to be paid. Julie kept looking at that mouth. It's like she needed to go to the dentist. Jeans, clothes, bills. I had bills up my ass and no way to pay for them. What was I supposed to do? Let my kids look like anything? What was I supposed to do? Delineate to some lower lifestyle? I don't think so. I had grown accustomed to my life. I had a conversation with a friend of mine. She told me that there was a way that I could make $2,000 a week tax-free, and the work would be easy. At first I was hesitant. And then I figured, what's wrong with doing something natural for a little cash? My first trick was the hardest. I just closed my eyes and pretended it was Denzel Washington. Don't judge me for doing what I had to do for my kids. Don't put some sort of mark on me with your morality for putting food on my children's table. I did what I had to do. We live in a sexist, hypocritical world, don't we? Needless to say, I got lots of money in the bank. In fact, my kids' tuition is paid forever. In fact, they can probably go to the best schools. I used my MBA to get everything I wanted. In fact, we're even planning a trip to Disney World. But now I can retire. In fact, in a little while I'm going to have a drink with two of my friends, Walina and Dolores. We are celebrating getting out of this business without catching any diseases and doing so well. Ladies, get your own. Never depend on a man for nothing. Sure, have one good one that supports you, that really supports you. There's no reason to be sleeping around all over the place, but make sure that you have your own. Look, I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm just going to close my eyes and dream about Disney World.
Una tarde partida hacia extraña nación, pues lo quiso el destino. Pero mi corazón se quedó frente al mar en mi viejo San Juan. Adiós, 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 Borinquen querida, tierra de mi amor. Adiós, 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 mi diosa del mar, mi reina del palmar. Me voy, ya me voy, pero un día volveré a buscar mi querer, a soñar otra vez en mi viejo San Juan. I was born in Puerto Rico, Santurce, Puerto Rico. But we moved to New York and straight to the projects when I was 10 years old. My father was a kind man, but he drank all the time. Whew, my mother. My mother was the bossy type that always kept me and my sisters upstairs. The only time that we went downstairs to play was when my parents were with us. But I think I was maybe 18 years old when I was free to go downstairs by myself. But I was still living with my mother. I had to be home by 11 p.m. during the weekdays and 1 in the morning during the weekends. One time, I went with this girl that lived in my building. We hang out until 6 in the morning. I met this nice man, riquísimo, grande, fuerte, abusador, anyway. That's when I had my first joint. From there, I went to coke, then heroin. I got kicked out of my house with nowhere to go. So the streets became my home. To make money, I sold my body so I could buy drugs. It didn't matter who I slept with, as long as they can supply my habit. Oh, I did programs too. Oh, sure, yeah, I did programs. You know, program after program after program, you know, trying to find myself. The only thing I did was making the programs reach, because they couldn't help me. Nobody could help me. It was like the only thing I cared about was getting high, taking care of my habit, which at the time had grown to 150 a day. I was lost. I was lost until these two women put me on my feet. They gave me a home, showed me style and respect for what I did, even though we were in a lifestyle that was not morally respected. I was in this life for 11 years with Ruby and Dolores. Then I retired.